just before we do anything else, I thought it might be useful if I spent a couple of minutes just wandering through Canvas so you can see how it's set up for this course, and you can find things as quickly as you possibly can. Because this is an intensive course, most of the time that you'll be using Canvas is before and afterwards. Clearly I'm asking you to do quite a bit of reading, and I would like to see that reading done as much as possible before we end up in Vietnam. And the reason for that is I really want you to be using your eyes, your ears, your senses to do your research by really throwing yourself into the course when you're in Vietnam, as opposed to be spending your time working through the materials. Before we go to Vietnam, or for those of us who are outbound, we'll be going to Vietnam. For those of us who are inbound, before we meet you in Vietnam, we'll be having a webinar. That'll be and the time for that will be determined by you, and you'll need to put a vote in Canvas for that. I'm purposely trying to avoid using dates. This is because, well, I don't know whether I'm talking to this cohort, so I will tell you I am recording this before heading to Vietnam for the 2019 cohort. But this is the third time I've taught this subject. Every time I've been told, no, this is going to be the last time you teach it as well, yet I keep coming back. So hopefully, given that now I'm pretty used to doing it, this video is pretty helpful for you if you're in the future and I happen to be teaching it again. Let's see. So let me just flick in so you can see the screen. So this is in student view. It should be very similar to what you see yourself. One of the things that will happen in all of your classes is anything that's set up with a date will sit up here on your to-do list, and they'll continue to move through. So one of the things that's actually not mentioned on your to-do list that I want you to do first is get ready for the webinar. That will sit up there fairly early on. Once you've done things, or if you just don't want to be reminded, you can click that little button and they will go away. But if something changes in those requirements, then they will come up again. Another great way to look at it is to look at the course calendar. You can find that either over here in this area, or you'll see again you can hit the calendar over here as well. Let's hit this one. You'll see that and there will be additional packages in relation to other subjects that you might have in different colours. You will see that events relating to this course are set up in the calendar. You can also use the calendar feed here to get this to talk to whatever online diary you use. So for example, if you use Outlook or Gmail, you can get them to talk to each other so you don't miss anything. So let me just go back into the main page here. This is the home page that you will see every time that you come in. Not surprisingly, each of these links take you to the relevant part of the course. Announcements from me, you will see them here. And the syllabus page, that's where you get the link to the most important document, the document that tells you what your contract is with the university, effectively, what the course is about, and you will see that the schedule, such as it is outlined here. Now, it will be no surprise to you that this is likely to change. My motto, if I have one, is rigid policy of absolute flexibility. And the the big reality of it is things will change as we get closer to the date. More meetings will be added in, some will be moved around, some might be cancelled. It just depends on what's going on. But the syllabus page basically lists out everything. The rules have to list it here in both places, but frankly I would go down to the bottom because it's literally got everything day by day by day by day, with links to where you have the relevant information. So at risk of you getting dizzy, I'll just scoot up to the top. Modules area works pretty much the same as it will in most courses. This welcome area has got your preliminary information. It's important that you flick through all of those things. In particular, I don't know whether it'll be in the future or not, I've included my chat bot, which provides answers to questions, particularly on logistics issues. It's got a lot to learn, an absolute shitload to learn, actually. So I don't know how helpful it'll be to you, but I had fun putting it together. Actually, no, I won't bother with that at the moment. Pre-departure information. So one of the most important things that you need to do is indicate your preferred time for a meeting. If you can let me know before the 27th of July, the webinar itself will be held in the week starting the 29th of July, maybe even as early as the 29th of July. So the sooner you guys indicate your times, the better. You vote for your preferred time by going into this website. It's called Doodle. Many of you will have used it before, and basically there's already somebody in here. Basically what you need to do, just put in your name and click the times that you can or you can't do something. I'll just get rid of that because I don't really want to do anything more at this stage. I put in my preferred times, but really at the end of the day I can do any of these. So the earliest we would be having it is the 29th of, the 30th of July. Sorry, I'm speaking to the present. If it's the future, you're going to have to look at what the dates are in the future. Okay, so the other thing about the modules is, in particular, the pre-departure information. Make sure that you work your way through the reading list. There is a lot of reading. Some of it will be of more interest to you than others. And basically, this reading is designed to give you a reasonable understanding of the current economic position in Vietnam, some of the things that are interesting, some things to inspire you for that assignment, particularly the group assignment, and to get your thinking for your assignment, for your reflective plan, which I'll talk more about in the webinar when we have it. I'm particularly excited about this reading. I mean, I hate to say it, but if you are only going to pick one of the readings about the economy, this is the one that I would ask you to focus on. While it does have a focus on digital economy, and for those of you who might know me, it's no surprise that I am interested in disruption and technology, it actually does so in a way that is very forward-looking and gives some really interesting data about what's happening in Vietnam today. These readings will help you have background in the meetings that we go to, will also help you as you understand the task at hand, which is to provide an investment recommendation in a developing country, in particular in Saigon, in Vietnam. So, big lot of reading all on one page. Whatever isn't actually immediately accessible to you in the library as an online resource, you can download for this page as well. The next thing I want to point out to you is the assignments. Now, it's actually, see the way this is set up as show by type. You might find that there's just a big list of assignments and they just show by date. I would suggest that you modify, hit that button in your case to show them by type, because there are a couple of little variations here. So in particular, the first task, which is broken up into two parts, the major part is the pre-departure report, but due on the same time is this little micro task. It's worth 2.5% of your overall mark, and if you do this task, you will get 2.5% full marks, no grading associated with it. If you don't do it, you won't get those 2.5. It's ultimately completely up to you here. For those of you who are outbound students, so that means that you are based in somewhere not in Vietnam. Well, even if you're based in Vietnam, you're enrolled through an Australian campus. If you're based in Vietnam and you are living there and you're an online student or you're a commuting student, please contact me, because it may well be better for you to do the other task. But the Preparing for Learning Abroad is a micro-credential, only available to students who, at the moment anyway, only available to students who are enrolled in an Australian campus or through Online Universities Australia. Basically, you will need to go here and then actually enroll in the microcred. So this one, the link will take you straight to Preparing for Learning Abroad. It says it's going to take you about 8 hours. I would actually be surprised if it takes you that long as postgraduate students. I want you to bear with it. It might seem a little bit like it's aimed at undergraduates early on, but I think if you do the work in a quality way, you will find that there is real value in this process, and it will really help you with your reflection and getting ready for your major report. And I'm expecting a correlation between students who do this and those who and good marks in the major report. Basically, it's ready to start when you are. You will need to enroll, and there'll be some online learning materials, some reflections, and some mini tasks for you to do. When you are finished doing it, you will earn a cred, a badge, and when that is done, you're going to upload your badge as a confirmation that you've done this task. For the students who are inbound, your task will be to make a short video explaining to foreign investors why they should come to Ho Chi Minh City. I'm expecting you to do that by focusing on 1 or 2 key points in the readings or your own understanding and research about the economic climate and the pros at the moment. I want you to focus on the pros of investing in Vietnam. So basically you do one of these and then you get the full marks. Then similarly at the end, after the intensive, there is another micro-credential for outbound students and another short video that inbound students will be required to make. Once again, it's full marks. You get 2.5% of your overall mark if you do this task, and in each case these tasks will help you with your major individual tasks, which each of them is worth 27.5%. So 60% of your marks overall are for your individual work, and the work that we do largely while we are overseas will be the group project work, which is divided into 15% for your presentation at the end of the week and 25% for a report that will be delivered not long after the intensive is complete. So navigating the module should be pretty straightforward. The early part is the preliminary, which is similar in all. The pre-departure information, similar in all. Each of the days that follow basically provide the schedules and reading in support of those that day. They are likely to change as we move on. And then there is a gaggle of materials at the end dealing with reflective practice. These will help you as you do your final assignment in particular to understand some reflective practice models and how reflective practice will help you in your study and in your understanding of this experience. Speaking of which, in the pre-departure information, there is also a page that deals with planning, which will help you with your first assignment. But I will talk about both of those in a little bit more detail when we get together again to talk about the overall course, so in the pre-departure webinar. Sorry, this has gone a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but hopefully it gives you a good grounding in what it is that we're going to be doing and how to use Canvas in this course. Looking forward to meeting you in person real soon. Cheers.